they brought it, ushered in Christianity in the Bible. That's why when they created Liberia, the Americo Liberians went over. They brought Christianity with them. Daniel Coker brought the AME Church with him, and they sent Edward Blythe, and one of the fathers of Pan-African, who grew up in the Jewish church. He went there under the Methodists and created Islam under his party, and they brought the first college to Liberia, which he came down into Tuskegee in the late 1800s, and went back and took that blueprint there, which was a vocational school, and brought a lot of ways there. Mm-hmm. Yes, but he brought in Islam to throw off, the Christianity connection there. I had wanted to play something on the land. This is my auntie right here talking to me about the land. Let me know if y'all can hear this. It's about like a minute and 30 seconds.
It might be 8. You want to know your whole ancestry tree, and you want to learn as much as you can while your grandma living. And I hate to say that because I don't ever want to see the day when Foster gotta go. But one day I'm gonna be gone. You gotta document the information I give you. And all this stuff in my head, I need to write it down in a section. I had to show my birth certificate, your mama birth American, descendants of slaves. ADOS is supposed to receive the reparation. Well, how do we know they ADOS? Well, they got to come and show us their ancestry line. And they got to prove to us who they are. So if you got to show them your birth certificate, your mama's birth certificate, then it's my daddy's birth certificate. I had to do that in Louisiana when I closed the property up and did a section. I had to show my birth certificate, my dad's birth certificate, my grandmother's birth certificate. I had to get my great-grandfather and grandmother Catholic birth certificate and their baptismal record in Louisiana. And then after I got that, I had to go and prove my great-grandparents who their parents were. So they made me go back 6 generations in order to clear the property in Louisiana. That's a long time. Yeah. So they kind of got mad because most black people don't know. But since I had been studying this, and my grandmother made me do it since I was 17 years old, I knew it. So they couldn't trick me on nothing. You see? Mm-hmm. If they can trick you, that's how the white man steals. And that's how they have been able to steal. Because if they can trick you and say, it's a loophole right here, well, you can't prove that you know it's your great-grandfather, well, where's the grandparent? When I went to Louisiana, she didn't get me interested. When I went to Louisiana, she would make me take a picture of Dad and go to all my ancestors' burial ground, make me write down what was on the tombstones, and then as I wrote it down, she told me how they were kin to me. Then she gave me stories about them.
All right, I'll stop it right there. But she was 17. She almost she in her 60s right now. Mm-hmm. And this the person that brought me on to, my whole methodology and my approach. If you listening to her, you can hear, you can hear I sound just like her, but that's how I got my methodology, But like she said, she had to go back 6 generations, or state of Louisiana was gonna take the land. Mm-hmm. We hadn't had a land succession in over 100 years to pass it over to the next generation. So she had to go back 6 generations to prove, just to get transfer the land to our generation. But it went through the women. That's what I wanted to point out. It ain't my uncles fighting for it, but it's the women in the family.
One of the sisters brought up in the comments that the settlers would only speak to men when they came. That's because they was patriarchs that came. The patriot is the patriarch. And the women knew what was going on, and that's why all of the chiefs were used. If you go back and look, the chiefs was telling them way back in when, we don't have final say, the clan mother do, right? And they disregard them like, okay, well, whatever. And then when they come back, they got some scheme, right? If you notice, they used to always say that we signed our name with an X. But when you go somewhere and somebody wants you to sign something, where do they put on there to show you where to sign? They put an X.
For eggs, right?
Why is the name blank behind the X? Because they wasn't signing. So they was saying the X was the name signature they used because they was illiterate, which was BS. They didn't agree with transferring land to foreign invaders. So they had to use the eminent domain, the sharecroppers agreement, and the squatters' rights in order to rustle the land from the people. And because we was already had problems with each other, we was fighting with each other, they was exploiting us by offering our enemies, which was warring clans. We didn't fight to the death, but they started offering them implements of death, the firearms, in order to fight them, for them to assist the tribe to fight the other tribe. And then they have the English would get one guns, the French would get the other's guns, and then they sick them on each other and step back. That's why Elijah Muhammad said everywhere he go, he find peaceful people, start a conflict between them, and offer them a solution. And always add to the end of that for a fee, because it's going to cost you when they offer the solution. You just don't know what it's going to cost you till it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We want to thank you, Rod, and thank you a lot for coming on. You always run to the rescue. And here come legendary Chief to top it off. This was like the icing on the cake.
Hey, I said for him too, didn't I?
Yes, you did. He been asking for you from the beginning.
Yeah, okay. You know I had to come through, man. I seen it. I was over here in my genealogy, and I seen it. I said, "Oh, they on." I'm finna go up there and go holler at the queens. Yeah, for sure.
She called me earlier, Top Cat. She said, "You coming on, Ride?" I was scheduled to do Black Magic tonight, but he had to reschedule for Monday to get his scheduling caught back up.
To my brother Rich.
Yeah. So then when I
on brother Rich, man, I don't think he know who I am though.
Look, so when Sister Freedom called me, I was like, "Top Cat's gonna be there. Call Top Cat, see what he doing."
Yeah.
I went in his chat and I said, Rod said he might come on tonight.
Right. I saw that too.
Yeah, and then I tried to put it in there like 3 times.
I had saw it.
Yeah. I was trying to make sure. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I was trying to make sure that you seen that. But
yeah, but Unc, if you get a chance, let him know, man. Tell him I want to come on, man, and drop some wisdom, man.
Especially because he really curious about about us knowing we were some, that we was already here. He curious about that. I mentioned to you. You mentioned to him. I'm gonna wait till we on the show though. I mentioned to him.
Y'all see,
okay.
You, Top Cats, and Dane, that's gonna be fire.
Yeah, Dane said I gotta get you and Brother Rod Hayes on this documentary. It's gonna be kind of like similar to like a Hidden Colors. He didn't say that, but you know that's what I'm saying. That's kind of the setup, because how the venue he was saying, and you know he wanted to get the good backgrounds. He gonna have a camera crew in there, and he was like, "Man, I got to get y'all too." So we figure it out. It'll come together.
Place once that's done.
Hold on, Ryan. You said something about a carnival. I was in the chat, but I heard you said something about a Mardi Gras or something. 2025.
Yeah, it's a year-long celebration. That's us celebrating independence from the colonizers. But the way that it's built, it looked like we celebrating 250 years of independence. But what we really celebrating is the breaking of 200 years of oppression. Right. So, but he had to announce it like that because there's a lot of people that's still behind the curve, but they needed to know in advance that this 1 year celebration was going to happen. I had been talking about the year-long Mardi Gras for 2 years before Trump ever announced the 2025 celebration.
Hmm. It's a lot going on. But I even suggested that we start doing events, summer events, start speaking, bringing the ancestors, making them happy, speaking on this, doing little events in the summertime and in the winter, but you probably got to do it in some type of places. But I like doing events. That's something I do here all the time, every year. I was supposed to do a big event for Malcolm X's birthday. I did it last year, but I had too much going on this year to do it. But yeah, mostly every year I done had a big event with Umar Johnson. The last two years I haven't though.
Hey, he the biggest joke to me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what you think about Umar?
I used to
Umar
love
ran
Umar.
from me one time. Me too.
Listen, I used to love Umar because his passion was so on point. But what made me lose interest is he was building the school for 5 years and the school still wasn't built. And I know he had collected a lot of money.
I personally gave him $150 when he came to Houston 2015. I still got the tape and everything. He pocketed
Okay.
that. He probably went and got a he probably went through it in the strip club that night.
But
What
look,
happened?
I seen him in I went to see him in Detroit in
I
person. I think he probably one of the few speakers I decided to go see. But the thing that he really turned me off and the final straw with him was he said that in his family line he related to Nat Turner and he related to Frederick Douglass,
well
right?
I don't know about that because my mom's husband is a Bailey and he's direct related bloodline related to Frederick Douglass, and I kept
Hold on,
telling him
let me,
that he
let me
wanted.
finish. He turned around and say, "We don't want to be black so bad that now we claim to be Native American." And I'm like, you must ain't never read who they said Frederick Douglass was or who they said Nat Turner was. Because Frederick Douglass is Native American and Nat Turner is Native American. So what that make you, nigga?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you rather deny who you is to be black and from Africa. Take your ass back to Africa and go talk to them over there and see how far you get. They'll feed your ass to the lions, nigga.
Mhm.
Yeah, me and Umar got into it like 2 years ago. But he ain't want no smoke. He came on there was talking. It's a lady named Dr. Gordon. She come back from with Dr. B and them. She used to be with Dr. B and them. Yeah, she went and tried to get Umar for me. I was gonna tell Umar up in there. Yeah, he went. He got a YouTube video and everything talking noise on there, talking about you pretenders ain't finna run me off nowhere. Y'all tried it on you. They tried it on YouTube. Nobody been successful. Yeah, and then we started talking all that. That was like 2 years ago. Though.
Look, I told him the reason he ain't getting the right ancestral support between
Right.
behind the school he open because he keep calling it a damn school.
Well, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's just that energy. It's energy is everything.
I see you
And
got a paint and twist going on coming up, huh? They painting up there, so they got a paint and twist going on.
well, they painted the outside, and the schools were my friend Theo Gregory is the one who built those schools, and I took Umar to get the schools, and then he didn't want to get them, and then after the stuff went down where he went to court and all that, well, then he came back, and we had a meeting and all that up at the city county building. This is when Theo was the president of city council, and then the schools after Theo built them, the city took the schools for some reason. I can't remember exactly why. After he built those schools, they took it. Oh, the curriculum. They said that something was up with the curriculum for the children. But I'm gonna tell you something. That's going to be a hard job because of where the schools are, and he wants this to be a paid private school situation. It's not a good area. He's going to have to get a gate built completely around the school because you got to keep in mind people may not pay to send their children to a school where it might be dangerous. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and then the busing where these kids are going to come. That's going to be a hard job. But the schools were built; they were already there. But what happened was somebody went inside the school and stole all the, You know how people steal the wiring and stuff like that?
Yeah, the
That's
copper and the metal.
yeah. So that's what happened with the schools. And I just don't know why the schools ain't been open yet. Doesn't make no sense to me, but I mean, he knows better than I do. I just, then somebody had cracked the window. I don't know. I don't know why they not done yet. He did get a painting done on the outside though. But he's still trying, I guess. I don't know.
Well, ain't no time limit on when you train. It's when you saying you trying and you ain't producing that it's a time limit on.
I just can't imagine what else needs to be done.
Been over a
But you
decade.
still got to have the backing of the people of Delaware. See, I keep telling people, Delaware is a small family type people. And if they don't like you and don't want to fool with you because you could do something to one of the Delawareans that hurt the city or hurt people, and the city won't want nothing to do with you.
I got a big mama in Delaware.
Oh, okay.
I got a big mama staying in Seaford, Delaware.
Oh, okay. But me and Dr. G is real close. And
Mm.
she used to be the president of the housing of, like when you want to buy like those dollar houses and all that kind of stuff. She was the president of all that. She ran all that. But you can't do nothing in Delaware if the state or the city is not behind you. You can't.
Well, they sure not behind him.
Well, if you're not gonna let nobody tell you anything, and let nobody help you, then how can somebody help you?
That's the same thing Marcus Garvey did when he tried to get his school.
Marcus Garvey had a whole lot of stuff, man. Marcus Garvey is probably the one of the most misunderstood leaders in the history of our people's struggle.
Those schools would have been perfect too, because if you look at it, there are 3 buildings. One building could have been for the girls, one building could have been for the boys, and then it could have had recreation, like a gym. It's a gym inside the schools. I think two of the schools got gyms in them. And the way I was talking with him, explaining, I said, these girls, you can be the first one to have them separated and be taught to be around each other. That's why we got so much young pregnancies and things of that nature, because the boys and the girls are in the same classroom. They start going through puberty and they start sneaking. And like I said,
You got to also add to that, Sister Freedom, that they teaching them to be sexual as early as possible, which is not right.
That's not right.
Through the music, the TV shows, the movies.
Yeah.
Look, you should not have sexual content directed at children under 10.
No, you should not. And at a certain age, they need to be taught to be around the opposite sex. They're not ready yet. And the little minds get so curious and they start in the puberty ages and they sneak. So that's why I do appreciate that with Islam. So the girls and the guys are not in the same classrooms, because you need to be taught to be around the opposite sex. To me, that was another trick the European played by putting us all in the same classrooms and all that. Everything seemed like a setup to me.
I don't trust none of this shit, to tell you the truth. Excuse my language. Because every time we turn around, they got another trick to pull out the bag. So until this system fall, I don't believe nothing they say until I see it. And then I still question what I'm looking at to make sure I'm seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing versus what they telling me to look at.
Mm-hmm. Now the whole system seems like a setup to me. Everything about it is set up.
Yeah. You want to close this off, Sister Freedom?
Yes, I am. I want to appreciate both of you, chiefs, kings, gods, brothers. I'm appreciating both of y'all being here with us and the chat, hanging out with us on a Friday night. We could have been doing something else and getting in trouble, but instead we're here getting this knowledge filling our brains and minds and have something to teach our children coming up, and to be proud of themselves for being who they are and not be wannabes to be being somebody else. So you can close us out with a word, Bride, and you can please both of y'all close us out with something, and we can all say good night and sleep well.
All right, I go first. I let close us out. Appreciate y'all ladies for having me up. Appreciate you, appreciate the chat coming through rocking that. And y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night.
Thank
Good
you
night.
very, very much.
Thanks.
I appreciate y'all inviting me over, Sister Freedom. Dots. And we're gonna do this again. I don't know when, but you know, we're gonna make some progress.
We got
So
to.
yeah, for the people watching.
Sisters is ready. We ready. We trying to put our sister thing together now. We don't know yet where we're gonna meet, but we trying to meet. But we can do like a little small event. We've been talking about a lot of little stuff though.
I've been purposely avoiding events as much as
Always
possible.
telling me to call you too.
Who? Who? Dots?
Yeah, she be like, yeah,
Freedom.
she be like, call Rod, see what he doing.
Freedom.
Ask him to come hang out with us.
Freedom. You check your thing.
Okay, baby.
Check your thing.
Okay.
I didn't mean to break. But you know, I want to close out real quickly with this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I want to close out with what you started with, Rod, okay? When you was talking about the real, I forget how you phrased it, but you said something like the reawakening of the big mamas or the women, I believe, right? I don't want to misquote you. So I want to end like this, because also, you know, when the settlers came over, right? They also didn't see the women as threats, right? And because, of course, they always liked that pretty brown skin, it was easy for the women to become keepers of secrets, theirs and ours, right? And so the women were also able to pass that on. And oftentimes, like when people think of war, they may think of like a physical battle, but remembering that we have always been on the front line, right? And it's so important to protect your women, because we've always done our best to protect y'all, right? And my Uncle Dorian always, you know, he had a lot of motion in Harlem. And I think I know what I'm talking about, right? And never ever kept too many men around him, right? That he trusted. He just wouldn't do it, right? And he always would tell us, his nieces and stuff, that, you know, when a man needs real covering and protection and loyalty, women are his code of honor. So it is so important, you know. And I do appreciate any time you guys always talk about that, just honoring, protecting, right? Uplifting, upholding, revering the woman. And that cannot be understated. That cannot be understated. So that's my closing words. And I also want to salute the chat, right? We definitely appreciate y'all. 1000%. You guys are awesome. So it's been real. It's been a good live.
Thank y'all. So we want everybody to have a wonderful good night. Rod, you want to say something?
And last thing I'm gonna say, in the words of Malachi York, above all, truth is truth.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
Well,
that's the truth.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everybody. I'm gonna end this stream. Good night.
Okay, good night, y'all.
Thank you again for coming and hanging out with us.
For sure.